Early morning in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and people in the region of Ituri go about their daily business. At 7:30 a.m., precisely, they stop to pay respects to their homeland. But this display of discipline is as close as this country ever gets to order. It is a place where murder and anarchy lurk close to the surface. Situated in central sub-Saharan Africa, the Democratic Republic of Congo is the size of Western Europe, with a population of 63 million. But for almost 10 years, this huge country has been devastated by the deadliest conflict in African history.
Many children died, many women died, and most of the children were abandoned on the street when the mothers are running. They were not able to run with the children, to escape with the children.
Despite abundant natural resources, such as diamonds, oil, gold and uranium, the country has barely any developed infrastructure. Tribes feuding over the most valuable land have unleashed a savage internal war. Tribal armies fight each other, as well as the government. These rebels, known as militias, have been responsible for killing, raping and torturing millions of their fellow countrymen. For Congolese children, the tragedy is endless. Massacred in their villages by machetes or recruited as child soldiers, hundreds of thousands of children are victims, and many have become murderers.
And I slashed the head off that man, and his hands too.
When I kill someone, I feel okay, because that is my enemy. If he saw me, he would have killed me first.
As the natural order of society was turned upside down, adults feared children as they killed with impunity.
I think I had already died inside. I decided to kill them, because by that time I was bad. So I killed them.
Mariano Dongo is a community leader and Pentecostal pastor.
We have plenty of children who were child soldiers in jail because of such an act. They were killing.
At
first we were using poles and sticks, not real guns. Then we went for battle training. People with rifles would shoot at you and tell you to go down, get down. And then when you get down, you start pretending to shoot back, but using your own voice. After that, they took us to where there is a machine gun. Then they started shooting and we had to dodge it. They shot it in order to make your heart strong and to not fear the sound. They did that several times. Finally, we were provided uniform and guns, and they sent us to go and fight.
Thousands of Congolese children either volunteered or were forcibly recruited into the National Army or the rebel militia as child soldiers. They became vicious killers, but were themselves brutalized by their experiences. Antoine is just 12 years old. We found him at the edge of the Congolese bush. He had absconded from his militia troop and had walked through the bush for a week in order to escape.
The life in the bush was so difficult for children. Sometimes we get diseases and so many sicknesses. Snakes and insects were biting us, and there was not enough food, and not even any pay. Too much suffering. It was suffering upon suffering. I came back here in order to get forgiveness.
What were the bad things that you did that you want to be forgiven for?
Killing people, that was bad. Beating people for nothing was not good. Arresting people for nothing was not good.
Now he's trying to earn a few dollars working as a market porter. But if his former commanders catch him, it's likely they will kill him for running away. His trauma and fear are palpable.
The commanders were very cruel to the children. Even me, I was beaten so much. They could beat you until you were almost dead. Our commanders, they have bad hearts. If you make a small mistake, like if you shoot your gun by accident when you're cleaning it, then they beat you. And if they are drunk, they will take a gun and shoot you. I was a watchman at the commander's house. I was sent to kill 2 people. They had stolen the commander's gold and disappeared from camp. We found them and arrested them and brought them to the commander. He told us, "You go and work on them." We shot them, then we buried them. By that time, my heart was black. I decided I also wanted to die, and I think I had already died inside. I decided to kill them, because by that time I was bad. So I killed them.
Many of the children saw their only choice as kill or be killed. They feared they would be slaughtered if they stayed in their villages during the hostilities. So joining the militia was an act of self-preservation.
The war started and Jean-Paul said to me, "Mummy, I will go and join the militia." I told him not to go, but one day he just disappeared from the village, and then I knew he'd done it and gone to join the militia. Jean-Paul and his friends joined because they saw much suffering of the people in our village. The people in the village were being killed with machetes. Because of that, the children joined. They didn't join because they liked it.
Our mothers were not happy, but there was nothing they could do. We wanted to go and join the militias. Then when I became a soldier, I started making money. We were sent to a checkpoint to collect money from the people who were passing. And I was able to send money to my mother, and her life was better. I was getting food, and sometimes I made $20 a day. When I was in the militia, I was used to living alone and being independent. It's hard to go back to living with parents after that. I don't like living with my parents.
You're 14. Are you a child or are you a man now?
I'm a child, yes, in age, and in size I'm still small. But I know so many things about the world. Nobody can joke with me or tell me what to do. I am young in age, and you can see I'm small in size. But I'm not just a child. I know so much. Nobody can play with my life. I always go off on my own and survive. I don't care.
Patrice became a child soldier at the age of 11.
I joined the militia to avenge.
Did you kill anyone?
Yes, I killed. When you kill somebody, you can tell from the sound of your gun. The noise of a bullet hitting a body is different from the sound of it whizzing through the air. That's how you learn to recognize that you have shot someone.
Were there times when you thought you were going to die?
Yes, because when you are fighting face to face, and you see your friends die in front of you and take bullets when they're right next to you, then of course you think you will die too. When I kill someone, I feel okay, because that is my enemy. If he saw me, he would have killed me first. When we are fighting, I want to save my life. He wants to save his life. That's just how it is. I cannot tell people about what happened to me. These things are my secret, to stay in my heart.
Psychologically, most of the children are traumatized because of that. We have so many children with trauma because of what happened. Some of the children knew how their relatives and parents were killed while they are washing. So that disturbed most of the children psychologically. They can't live as normal as other children. They can't play as other children. The way they think is different.
The child soldiers were robbed of their chance of a carefree childhood.
When they find children and women, they kill them. That's what I know. I saw that with my own eye. After the fighting, the parents fled, they escaped, then the baby was abandoned, around 4 months old. When the Lendu militias arrived in that village, they caught the child, took the child and divided the child into pieces.
احنا شي ناس عندنا ويا شيعة ويا السنة وناس تحب ناس يعني من تخنا من الأمريكان صار قتل.
Against a backdrop of chaos and violence, Baghdad's women struggle to survive.
يعني ما أعرف إيش راح يصير بالطريق. اللي قناص، اللي هاون.
قتل شو نشوف قتل ويومية.
And every woman special at this time on Al Jazeera.
Get clear pictures, even in low light conditions. The Sony CyberShot W50 captures amazing moments with ease.
Sony.
You got caught up in something and then it snowballed. It was my fault. How would you like to be remembered?
If you stick your ground, you're going to win.
There is the danger of a Syrian coup.
Yes. The situation in Afghanistan is anywhere close to as dire as it is in Iraq.
Join me for Frost Over the World.
Frost Over the World on Al Jazeera.
Iraq on the edge of civil war. Who is responsible? Who will take control? Will more troops bring stability? Neighboring countries watch with concern. Is a regional war next? Inside Iraq, on Al Jazeera.
The Democratic Republic of Congo recently held its first democratic elections in 40 years. And for now, there is an uneasy peace. The United Nations is attempting to disarm the militias, especially the children. But there is frequent fighting, and some militia are refusing to hand over their weapons. In line with international law, children are now banned from serving in government forces. Those militia fighters old enough are being integrated into the new national army. But the average army salary is only $20 a month, far less than they earned looting and pillaging. So some have switched sides or rejoined the militias. The atmosphere in town is menacing. Allegiances shift with the winds. No one really knows who is on whose side or who is spying for whom. And the mood suggests it wouldn't take much to reignite the fighting. Jean-Paul took me to the site of a recent battle.
I prefer to die a soldier, so I want to go back to the bush to fight.
What's wrong with being a civilian?
If you die a soldier, your parents will be proud because you died on their behalf. Even your friends will be proud. But if you die a civilian, you die at the hands of a machete in your home. That's a stupid, pointless death.
It's thought up to 5 million people have been killed since 1998, when the conflict intensified. And it wasn't just the boys who did the killing.
We were fighting with machetes, arrows, spears, and knives. I'm not using a gun.
Why?
Because sometimes you go in a battlefield with a gun and your bullets will be finished. Then the enemy will catch you and kill you. But with machetes and arrows, spears, you can fight at any time. The machete stays with you. You can always fight with it.
Can you tell me the ways in which you were trained to fight?
I got some training in fighting from my boyfriend, the father of this child. I would tell him, teach me how to fight. Then he told me to join him in battle, and he said he would show me how to fight. He gave me a machete and said, if you see me shoot someone and you see them falling down injured, kill them. Or I will catch someone for you, and you will kill them with machete. Then I did that. He shot someone, and they fell down. I was so afraid to go over to them. He told me, do not be afraid. He said, if you are afraid, you will die, because if that person has a gun, he will kill you, because you hesitate. So I went, and I slashed the head off that man, and his hands too.
You will go to an enemy camp or village. If the people fled already, you will loot everything, radio, money, everything they own, even their guns. And then you sell that, and that money helps you and your commanders.
And when you were looting in the village, what did you do to the women and the children?
You slaughter them with knives. If you want to shoot them, you can do that too, but you can also use a knife or machete. It's no problem. You can tie her on a pole or under a tree, and then you shoot her, and you take the dead body to be buried just half a metre under the ground.
Did you rape some of the women?
Yes, there are some militia who took them away and raped them before they kill them, or they will not kill them and take them for their wives. If her behaviour is not good, then you will kill her. Even if she is your wife, if you dislike her, you can kill her.
The men were raping women, taking them by force. Even if you don't like them, they will just take you by force. They can marry you, and when your husband is angry with you, or if he gets bored, he can easily kill you. This happened to some girls I know.
And is this what happened to you?
Yes, they raped me. Then I went to accuse to the commander. He judged them and condemned them, and they had to pay a fine to my parents. I've tried to abandon my memories, killing people, the memories of being a militia. I've made myself forget them, because I don't want my mind to be disturbed. I think about the rape. I can never forget this.
raping women, even those children, those small boys who were militias. You will find them raping women who are of the age of their mothers. Something is changing. And I never heard of children raping women before before 2000. I never heard about that. But since children join militias, such things have started happening. And raping cases has become as normal than ever before.
The Democratic Republic of Congo has the third highest number of internally displaced people in the world. Here in Getty, some 67,000 people live in a temporary refugee camp. The people here fled their villages during the fighting. Some walked hundreds of kilometres through the bush to get here. For the little ones, growing up in a place like this is really tough. There's just nothing here for them. But there's fighting all around this area, so their parents face a really difficult decision. Do they risk taking their children home, and they might get killed, or do they bring them up in a place like this? Today, the camp is controlled by the National Army. But people here told us they still fear the militia, who come into the camp at night to steal and rape. The night we were there, 2 young girls and an old woman were raped. Violence against women, and especially rape as a form of warfare, is endemic. Villages have been wiped out, crops and fields burned, and the fleeing inhabitants run with what they can carry. This is some of the most fertile land in the world, yet malnutrition affects 2/3 of the entire population. The conflict has destroyed people's capacity to grow crops or feed themselves. In the refugee camp, around 40 children die of malnutrition every month. For the former child soldiers, coming home has been a different kind of struggle. The children are viewed as murderers and made unwelcome in a society still in pain. Some Congolese preach peace and reconciliation. Others are unwilling to forgive.
I saw the killings of people, setting fire to huts and houses, destroying villages. I understand now those things were wrong.
Thomas was a fighter in one of the most feared militia. They were cannibals. They ate the organs of those they killed in battle. The commanders thought it would be easier for the children to kill if they convinced them that the enemy was subhuman, like animals.
It was the people who were killed in battle they ate. They ate mostly the liver. They put it on the fire and ate it. That is what they did. They were not allowed to eat the heart. That was not allowed. I don't know why, but it was the rules given by the witch doctors. They said we should not eat the hearts.
Some of the reasons why those children were doing evil things is because of the information they were given by the adults. And when they got those information, then they can easily use it without checking or without thinking or without meditating on it. The information about killing, the information about raping, the information about all the bad things or lootings done in Ituri, children got it through some adults who gave them those informations.
The troubles are far from being over for the Democratic Republic of Congo. A whole generation of its children has seen the dark side. As night falls, most families stay indoors, fearful of what might happen. And with the night comes the sound of motorbikes as the militias ride into town. No one knows what morning will bring.
And for all the children in Congo, I say we should come together and go back to school and rebuild our country.
At home, I am not living a good life because I have no money. If I can't make money, I want to go back to the bush.
I can't go back. Even if they force me up to the point of death, I will never again join a militia.
If the children will not continue in school, they will not have a good future. They will keep on killing people and raping women. Life is not about looting and killing.
When I was in militia, I had power and money. That is why I want to go back to this life.
I will never allow my child to join the militia. This child will never fight.